So what's up, everybody? It's me, True Star Screamer, and we're here with another Samurai Force figure from Rage Toys, and this is the Master. And this is their not Splinter. Beautiful artwork on here, and again, just kind of the other one. We've got the same history on the back. And I still would love to know whose idea it was that approved orange text on a yellow background, because my gosh, I know you're looking at this on a screen in front of my eyes. This is hard to read. But it's pretty much the same box as last time. I know we can definitely see 1, 2, 3, the Master. There's stuff going on here. This artwork is really hard to interpret. But again, this is as close to as lore as we're going to get. Not much on the top, nothing on the sides. I want to point out that this box was tight as hell to open. So be very careful if you're a mitten box collector, that it is easy to rip up the box. But really, enough about the figure, let's talk about the toy. Or enough about the box, let's talk about the toy. Need more coffee. The Master comes in 2 trays with a hell of a lot of gear. So as opposed to previous figures, there is no one version of this figure is one release and one version is another. So this is pretty much all the same guy. So we all know this is Master Splinter, deep in our hearts. Want to point out the tail is in the second box, so it doesn't come out completely. And yeah, let's see what this figure looks like. A lot of hands, though. It's kind of cool. So here is looking at the Master figure straight out of the box. As I mentioned before, the tail is an add-on piece, and as you can see these little holes here, this is also bendy wire tail. This is absolutely awesome. Once again, I knock stuff over. But there's a little port here in the back, and you just tell him to breathe easy as you just stick that in there. So for those of you who are over 40 know exactly what I'm talking about. And yeah, that looks hella dope right there. It looks natural. It looks like it's part of it all. The painting and coloring is absolutely impeccable, and that goes with everything here. So I've messed with this figure a little bit, and I do have a few wonders about it. A few, why haven't they done this before? And I mean, overall, it's still keeping the aesthetic to it all. Again, the dry brushing and washing is absolutely amazing. I'm looking at the wraps here. If you notice the arm joint, this has a pinless double jointed joint. So that's already a step ahead of the other figures. Also, I've seen Summer apparently has the pinless double joint, and I do have Summer on pre-order, even though it's now going by Rave Toys. I think they're trying to dodge the bullets. Articulation, just because we're already here, he's got, again, no butterfly joints on these. I've got the regular hinge joint here. A lot of really nice soft goods. I do have issues with the scabbards here being so low and loose. That does kind of bug me. Just saying. The knees. Okay, I gotta talk about these legs. I do have a slight issue with these legs. There is a bit of a joint in here. We can bend it, but I can't straight, and that's as straight as it gets. So these are kind of already pre-posed. So I can get a little more of a crouch out of him, but while the hinge is here, with not much, and oh, there's a thigh swivel. It's very, I think there's a thigh swivel on here. I may have to hit this with a hairdryer. It's hard to say because this is on a ball socket. I don't know if that twists. We're gonna find this out together. Hopefully this doesn't snap. Oh, yeah, we have a thigh swivel. Okay, so that's a little better. So I can get a little bit more of a crouch out of him, which is cool, and a little bit of a kick. There is no ankle pivot, but there is a toe hinge here. So these are some interesting directions, I have to say. But it's kind of crazy he cannot stand straight up. But I guess that kind of works for an anthropomorphic rat because that's how his legs stretch. The neck is on a double ball peg, which gives some subtle movement, which is nice, but I wouldn't mind a little deeper. But I did find if you turn the collar like this and straighten it, it looks like he's looking more to the side. I don't know if you ever saw that Crocker figure that came out a while ago. I passed on that because you had to actually change the necks out to make him look left and right. I think this would have been a really neat way, by the way, for them to do it. So, but the fur looks really good on him. Again, that dry brushing. The hands are on a up and down pivot, and the inside of the palms, I love how they're colored and painted. Same on the inside of the feet, so this definitely keeps that whole rat look to it. Overall, just a beautiful presentation, and these guys have been very consistent with that. Now, the accessories. This is pretty cool. So, the Master here has an excellent array of accessories that I think are very appropriate and rather unique for a figure like him. First we have to talk about is this scroll. It is almost, it's like this is what he used to teach the karate techniques or to his students. I think this is very, very cool. Beautifully printed. Everything really makes sense with this. I wouldn't mind if it had like some kind of Velcro or something, just so when it rolls up tight, because it does tend to unroll by itself. But this does not feel like it's going to be tearing. It almost feels like a cloth material, which is very nice. And I also like on the edges of the scroll itself, there's a little bit of gray wash in there just to give it that little weathered metal metallic look to it. But again, this just rolls up pretty nice. You can't roll it up super tight because this is just the piece that's wrapped around here isn't attached to it anyway. So if you try to roll it up tight, it just kind of free spins into it. But this is a very, very cool accessory for a master to teach his students. Next, we have this is mutagen. All right, plain and simple. The ends here come out pretty easy. Keep that in mind, but you do need that when we get to the next accessory. But you can take it out, and this just kind of slides out of it. This is just a really neat thing of having almost, I don't know if that's like a super glue stick or whatever, but between that and the tube itself having the green on there makes it look like it's got a glow going to it. A very, very nice effect. Getting the edges here have that faux that gold paint on it. It's really nice. Now the reason why this tube comes out, the end of the tube comes out, is because he has this backpack. We'll put this on in a little bit when we gear him up, but the backpack of course does hold the scroll. That would slide into here, and then the mutagen, it will slide in down here. The backpack, again, beautifully painted, a little bit of dry brushing here on the side. And this, I love this cording. Now if you ever saw my review for the Demon Ashura figure from V Toys, I had a little issue with the black stretchy wire that it came with because I said it broke the immersion. This I don't mind because at least it looks kind of like rope, so it works with the aesthetic. So this is what, if the V Toys Ashura had, I'm sure I'll put a card for it up here, this would have absolutely satisfied that need. These, by the way, do, I think these can unplug, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, if you pull hard enough, yeah, so this will unplug up here, so that I can slide the paper through it, and that'll hold it on tight. And when I gear him up, I'll have it all set up for you on there. Alright, next we're going to be talking about hands. I usually don't like to go through all the hands, but these are all beautifully done. Again, I just love the fact how they gave that pink interior on the hand, just like a rat's paw. The claws are beautifully done, and again, the paint is so well done on the fur. He's got this, circled one, which of course will hold the mutagen tube really well. Plus, we'll talk about his cane here, but this will actually go well with at least having the cane placed in there. Oops, I keep knocking these guys over. So that's very cool. He's got 2 of these. He also has a more gripping hand, which grips the cane quite well. And of course still could probably have this side in here going there. Right. And this is much better than Autumn's hand for holding the rifle, by the way. But we've got 2 of these gripping hands. And then we actually have 2 Kung Fu hands. I love these. These are just perfect strikes. And these still also pair well with the default hands. So when you do Kung Fu poses with them, they will, well, as you'll see. It's subtle, but a pose like that still gives that whole karate Kung Fu feel to it. One accessory I do find I am kind of missing would have been an alternate head. I think I would have liked a more angry teeth-bearing head. Though, oh gosh, yeah, if you zoom in here, he does have buck teeth, which is pretty nice. It's just right under his beard. But I think I would have liked an open mouth look, kind of more of an angry look to it. While we've got him up here, he does have 2 short swords, which of course fit into his holding hand, and these will be going into these scabbards here that are way too long, that I am really worried that these guys are going to fall out of, to be honest. I saw one guy, Custom Comics I think, he shortened them and glued them together, which was I think a smart idea. This is a very tight fit, by the way. I just started putting it in and I stopped right there. I'm actually a little scared here to pull this out. I hope I don't scrape the paint off the blade. So give me a second here and we'll find out. The paint, yeah, you can see the paint was starting to come off of here. I'm actually going to go put a little silicone shock oil on this right now. Yeah, I don't like that at all. That paint was already starting to come off. So I'm going to put some silicone shock oil on these, and I bet that'll help have them glide into that. But that's a little bit of a disappointment there, if by putting the swords in once I already started scraping off the paint. So pardon me while I do a brief edit, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and yes, if you do get this guy and you do have the shock oil, absolutely it's worth investing, because that made that so much easier and a lot less scary. But I do not like how these dangle down here. I think this is definitely too long. I think I might do what I saw the other guy do and actually wrap this up a little and glue it and actually put a little bit of glue on that. I think that'll look a lot nicer. I'll probably do that after I record this, but just something to keep in mind. Again, roll it up, put a little bit of crazy glue, hot glue, then some crazy glue on that, and I bet that'll look a lot better and just a lot more tight. Just a lot more formal to it, because yeah, these are just kind of flailing around, dangling in there. It's just gonna look nicer. Yeah. But enough. Let's talk about more stuff here. I already said he's got the cane because he needs the cane. And we also have this back piece on here. And if you notice, there's a magnet here. So this will actually stick to him. And this is something that's absolutely awesome. I want to point this out. There's a magnet here, and also in the hat there's a magnet. So we can go ahead and just put this, on his head. That will just stick on there. And I don't know if you remember my Prey, the video from the Feral Predator from Prey, how I mentioned how I love the idea of taking advantage of magnets. This is fantastic. So I can sit here, put the collar around him, and then just the magnet will hold everything in place. As you can see, this looks great, and I don't worry about anything coming off. I absolutely feel magnet technology is something that is underutilized and should be completely taken advantage of in action figures. But let's completely gear him up. So here is the Master Splinter, completely geared up. And this is impressive. Again, these swords are all that are pretty much annoying me. These are driving me nuts. But aside from that, I love how everything looks. I mean, these soft goods are really well done. I have another weird complaint, and that is, it's one of those things that if I didn't know it existed, I'd be fine with it, and that's with this backpack. I bet they really should have taken, I bet we could have put another magnet in here, and I bet that would have made a world of difference of actually having this on his back, like actually attached to his back. I think I would have, if we only had 2 magnets, this is where I would have put the second magnet spot. But everything looks really, really good on here. It's definitely a complete look. This was talking about that scroll kind of coming unraveled a little. That's gonna bug me a little. The tail helps so much in supporting him, because again, with how these pre-posed feet are, it's just hard to find that sweet spot on balance, so the tail absolutely helps with it. We can get some decent martial art poses, but, and this is something I mentioned with the other 2 reviews, with both spring and autumn, the sculpts are great, they just don't lend it all completely for full ninja posing. Though summer looks like he's going to be correcting that. And speaking of spring and autumn, I love the monk's hat, but for this picture, I'm taking it off. And these guys look awesome together. So this is definitely going to be a fantastic display. These are not, again, this is not the perfect turtle set, especially when it comes to posing and ninjas and such. Honestly, I think Revoltech had that, even though it had its, what's the word I want to go for? It had its challenges, being a Revoltech figure. But as far as a solid display, these look absolutely impeccable. I'm very, very happy for my purchase. I did actually get the pack that's going to have the 2 bonus heads and the baby turtles for these guys as well. And I did mention I do have summer on order. So long short of it all, if you're in for this guy, absolutely get this guy. I picked mine up from 5K Toys. Absolutely thrilled with the service I'm getting from them. No, they're not paying me or anything, but Gundammit also carries them, and I can't remember anyone else off the top of my head, to be honest. But both those fantastic sites, especially if you're in this kind of third-party stuff. But let me know your thoughts down below. If you like these videos, give me a thumbs up. If you want more, let me know down below. If you have any requests for anything specific, you know, I'm always open for it. We, of course, as always, still have plenty of things on the way. I gotta still have more Joes to go for, so if you've been missing the Joes, they'll be coming back. But of course, more than anything else, as always, until next time, take care. Peace.